As a productivity expert running multiple successful businesses since 2008, I thought I was ahead of the time management curve. I'd already eliminated needless meetings and implemented a 4-day work week. But overwhelm still loomed over me and my team. In 2020's pandemic world, I discovered something incredible. When I stopped counting the hours my team worked, and I started prioritizing the quality of their work, our productivity skyrocketed. And it wasn't about working from home. It was about not trying to manage time. Without realizing it, we've built productivity models on the premise that success is measured in hours worked. We need a new approach to work that doesn't leave us feeling burnt out and unfulfilled. I'm Tanya Dalton, and this is my Oxford Talk. We need to begin by looking at the history of time, which is a daunting task because time, well, it's been around since the dawn of time, and humans have always been obsessed with it. Go back 20,000 years, and you'll find Ice Age hunters gouging lines on sticks and bones, marking the timing between the phases of the moon. Ancient Egyptians, 5,000 years ago, used obelisks to create moving shadows, making it easier to make plans to meet up at the local Starbucks because now there was a clear division of morning and afternoon. Babylonians later created their own system of timekeeping, with hours that varied in length depending on the season. The passing of time has always been based on the sun, moon, and seasons. Even without fancy clocks, our ancestors accomplished their work in the available daylight hours, which meant shorter workdays in the winter and longer in the summer. Work was task-oriented. The focus was on getting the job done and getting it done extraordinarily well. The seasons, just as they are in nature, had cycles of rest and renewal for humans. For thousands of years, we had a harmonious relationship with time. Until the Industrial Revolution, when life began moving at the pace of a steam engine, and the concept of being on time took on a whole new meaning. Suddenly, with the rise of factories, rigid work schedules became a matter of industrial efficiency. Workers synchronized their schedules with the pace and hum of machines. Time became a commodity to be measured and managed. We shifted from being task-oriented, where we prioritized the quality of the work, to time-oriented, focusing on punctuality, time management, and getting more done. This industrial system of work required pushing back on thousands of years of evolution. Our bodies have their own natural cycles that determine when we feel most alert and productive. Our Ultradian rhythm is what tells us when we need to rest or recharge. But by being strictly time-oriented, that can make it difficult to listen to our bodies and give ourselves the breaks that we need. Instead, we are constantly pushing ourselves to work harder, faster, longer, pushing through, even when it goes against our natural rhythms. It's like being in a constant state of jet lag without the exotic destination. It's no surprise that this leads to burnout, stress, and lack of productivity. We asked our bodies to evolve quickly to the industrial pace, but evolution takes a long time. Just ask your appendix. There's all this talk now about new models emerging, remote work, hybrid work, office-first work. But job satisfaction and productivity have nothing to do with avoiding a morning commute or getting to wear your pajama pants to the team meeting. It has everything to do with our relationship to time. Here's a piece of truth you won't hear from other productivity experts. There is no time management. It's a lie. Time isn't something we can manage. It ticks away at its own pace, as it has for thousands of years, indifferent to quests for industrial efficiency. And time doesn't give a damn about your to-do list or your color-coded calendar. And yet, we still try to fight it. The constant fixation on the ticking clock leaves us stressed out and unproductive. Let's try a quick experiment to highlight what I mean. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to try to take a couple of deep breaths. Are you ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feel relaxed? Probably not. Okay, let's take a quick deep breath again. No clock. Ready? All right. Nice deep breath in, feeling it filling up your lungs and your belly, and release it. How did that feel? Funny enough, that was less time, only about 8 seconds. In the first one, you raced time, trying to get more done. And the second time, we focused on the quality of the breath. You probably felt more relaxed. We get caught up in the quantity rather than the quality, efficiency over effectiveness. The shallow breathing didn't really satisfy you, did it? Shallow work doesn't either. Thanks to Parkinson's law, we know work will expand to fit the time we allow for it. But allowing more time doesn't mean we actually need it or help increase the quality of our work. More often, it becomes filled with small, meaningless tasks that take away attention from the big picture, leading to wasted time and resources, the exact opposite of productive. Our quality of work and quality of life suffer, and yet we continue to push the 40-hour week standard even though we know it creates that shallow work. There's this pervasive belief that if you don't want to work 40 hours, you must be a millennial or a Gen Z. In other words, lazy. This said, by the way, from a Gen Xer whose entire generation was labeled as slackers. Why 40 hours? Because Henry Ford deemed it so back in 1926, a time of economic prosperity and a time when they treated diseases using mercury and arsenic. Sometimes old logic doesn't really make sense in our modern world. We don't really need the 40 hours, certainly not in a day and age of computers, smartphones, and AI. And yet we hold fast to this regimented, antiquated work schedule dictated by factory bosses long dead. I'm not advocating for throwing out your watch or not having schedules. We need time. Without the tension of deadlines, goals won't be accomplished. And we already have meetings that drag on way too long. We need timers to end that madness. There's a lot of talk about moving to 4-day work weeks, but that isn't necessarily the answer either. It's still time-oriented, a blanket solution for humans with unique biological rhythms. I've noticed, too, that when the topic comes up, conversations still circle around 4 10-hour days. By clinging to a 40-hour expectation, we are continuing to measure pay in hours, which means we measure productivity in hours, not quality. Even work we consider hourly could be transformed by creating fixed part-time salaries or compensating based on specific key performance indicators, rewarding overall performance, moving back to the task-oriented way of thinking. That allows us to move in harmony with our natural cycles, focusing on the quality of the work while still paying attention to the clock. It's a hybrid, but not in the way we've heard before, where models are fixated on location, remote or office-based. A hybrid of how we interact with time, letting go of the rigid schedules and instead focusing on the task and expectations, including deadlines. That's how you achieve excellence in yourself and in your teams. Now, I've only been talking for about 10 minutes, but during this time, I've distilled a complex topic to the heart of the message, which is challenging, especially for someone like me who often thinks, why use 5 words when you can use 10? But isn't this what we're all looking for? Getting to the marrow of life? Focus on the task and use time to your advantage instead of trying to outrun it. The truth is, we've been asking the wrong questions. It's not how much time do you want to work or even where do you want to work. It's what's the work that matters and what's the quality needed to achieve it. When we start asking the right questions, we focus in on what matters instead of the clock. That's how we can create a better, more productive, more fulfilling world.